The poem, the writing, the prayer that touches and inspires me the most is by Oriah Mountain Dreamer, and it's called The Invitation. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you'll risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you've touched the center of your own sorrow, if you've been opened by life's betrayals, or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it or fade it or fix it. I want to know if you could be with joy, mine or your own, if you could dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tips of your fingers and toes without cautioning us to be careful, to be realistic, to remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you're telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself. If you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul. If you can be faithless and therefore trustworthy. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it's not pretty every day, and if you can source your own life from its presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand on the edge of the lake and shout to the silver of the full moon, yes. It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you've studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself and if you truly like the company you keep in the empty moments. So thank you everyone at Learning Strategies for 40 years of touching our lives. The world is a better place because of you. So I'm also going to share with you my favorite poem from childhood. And this was a poem from the poetry book of Childcraft, and it was about my favorite character, Jonathan Bing. I think this was called something like a new song of Jonathan Bing. Anyway, and I have it memorized. I actually have many of the Jonathan Bing poems and other poems from Childcraft memorized, as Pete can vouch, because he had to sit through me reciting many of them. So here we go. Oh, Jonathan Bing, oh, Binghamton John forgets where he's going and thinks he is gone. He wears his false teeth on the top of his head and always stands up when he's sleeping in bed. And Jonathan Bing has a curious way of trying to walk into yesterday. If I end with my breakfast and start with my tea, I ought to be able to do it, says he. And Jonathan Bing is a miser, they say, for he likes to save trouble and put it away. If I never get up in the morning, he said, I shall save all the trouble of going to bed. Oh, Jonathan Bing, what a way to behave. And what do you do with the trouble you save? I wrap it up neatly and send it by post to my friends and relations who need it the most. Happy anniversary.